I get up, time is barely on our side.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Gardenstategrowing. Let me get this stupid plant thing out of my way so you can see what I have going on here right now. And it's not a total just like bunch of things going on. We are doing part 2 of the fig plant rescue video. And do not pretend like I'm some type of an expert at any of this. I am not. I was forced into this. The reason why I never bought my wife a fig tree or started a fig tree, because I knew very little about the fig. I was forced to go to her grandfather's house, and she wanted me to dig up some plants, and I faked it that I was going to actually go there and dig these up, which would have took about 8 hours. But instead, the only thing I did was I went there and I took some cuttings of some of the most glorious plants. What I am actually going to do, and this is probably going to make a lot of people very upset, I am going to cut off all of these accessory branches, and I'm up here. Okay, so now that I have all the accessory branches cut off, and I see I have a fig growing here, and oops, it's coming off. These leaves, all this extra growth up top. All right, so now that I have this one stem that I picked off of this entire branch, no, I could easily go and propagate each one of those stems that I took off. I may just do that, but I do have some other prime cuttings that I picked. So I did cut it at a 45-degree angle. And what you see here in front of me is a rooting growth hormone solution. I mean, there's a lot of different products out there. Clone X, they're all very good. All right, so I am gonna take this and I'm gonna put it in this solution. What I did first was I dipped it in the soil and made a pocket for it because I didn't want to brush off all the rooting solution. So I'm gonna let it sit there for about 30 seconds. Now this soil or medium that I'm using right now is just the Jiffy's seed starting mix. It's peat moss, coco coir, perlite, vermiculite, and it is very loose, inert. It doesn't have any like nutrition in it. It's well draining, and that's what I want. I want moisture for root growth, but I do not want to oversaturate and not allow enough oxygen in there for the roots to grow. So you cannot just soak these down. So this has been sitting for about, I don't know, I guess 30 seconds. I'm gonna put it in the soil and I'm gonna press it down. I'm actually gonna pack it down pretty well, and I'm just gonna let that sit there. And wherever there was a node that was coming off of this branch, that is where the roots are gonna grow. So let's move on to some other branches and we will put them in soil as well. Let's not forget to cut the little drainage holes on the side, and that is it for that. So I have a bunch of more cuttings that I can go through right now, premium. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put the rest of these in these cups using the same method, the same fashion. All right, so at this point I have 2 that I put in where I didn't remove the leaves. I think it's gonna be a huge mistake. I think those leaves and those dates are gonna try to take up too much moisture, which is going to leave not a great root stock at the bottom. Right now I want to go for the roots, but so this is an experiment. Let's see what happens with that. The rest of them I am going to do traditionally. You know, it's funny, like after I cut these branches and these leaves off, they immediately started to wilt within like 10 minutes. And I'm gonna pierce it in and I'm gonna press down real hard because I want all that extra moisture to come out. I do not want to soak these plants at all whatsoever. I just want them to have a little bit of moisture. So there we go right there. That is 4. So let me grab another cut for this small guy and we'll see if I have anything else that's maybe worth propagating. You know what, I'm telling you right now, I do not need all these plants. I'm just doing it for the fun of it. So if you're close by, you want one, you can pick one up. I can accommodate you. So why don't you stop on by and I'll give you some fig tree. And that is it. Blop, blop. And we are done with the figs for today. Get rid of that fig. Hopefully that'll grow a tree over there. And we're just clean up this mess that we have over here. My hands are filthy. All right, so that is it for the rescuing the fig trees. I showed you some methods of you know, how to propagate them, but it's not the only kind. I mean, there's tons and tons and tons of different ways to do this. You can cut the branch on a living tree and put like a cap around it with soil, some rooting hormone, and you will get some you know, roots growing out of that, and then you can clip it and propagate it. And there's so many different methods. This is just one method that I'm going to use today because it was the simplest and it was the easiest way for me to get done what I need to get done today so I could move on to the next thing. So I love you. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you want to subscribe to this video to see what is coming up next. I love you. I will see you on the next video.
Walking alone, the streets are empty. The only thing I can see is my own silhouette. I'm getting strong.
I already called not helping.
Call not helping?
No. I call ignoring you.
I've been all around the globe trying to protect your soul.